The Somerton Man. On the morning of December 1st, 1948, a man was found dead on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia, propped up against a seawall as if he had simply fallen asleep. He was well dressed, in a suit, with no wallet, no identification, and every single tag cut out of his clothing, as though someone had deliberately made certain he could never be identified. To this day, more than 75 years later, despite an official autopsy, a police investigation, international attention, and multiple modern DNA efforts, nobody has ever conclusively determined who this man was. And the case remains one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in Australian history. Witnesses who had seen him the evening before described a man sitting on the beach, occasionally raising an arm as if reaching for something, though at the time no one thought much of it, assuming he was simply drunk or resting. By morning he was dead, and there was no obvious sign of violence, no wound, no indication of struggle. The autopsy that followed only deepened the mystery. The examining pathologist found that the man's spleen was significantly enlarged. His liver was congested with blood in a way rarely seen, and yet toxicology tests of the era could not identify any known poison in his system, despite symptoms that closely resembled poisoning. Investigators at the time strongly suspected he had been killed with a rare, fast-acting, and difficult-to-detect substance, but no conclusive evidence was ever found to prove it, or to identify what that substance might have been. His physical description didn't match any missing persons report in Australia, or, after international appeals, anywhere else in the world. His fingerprints, when circulated globally, matched no criminal or immigration record. Dental records led nowhere. For a case that drew this much attention, involving multiple police jurisdictions and international correspondence, the complete absence of anyone stepping forward to claim him was, in itself, deeply unusual. Weeks after his death, the discovery deepened the mystery even further. A small, tightly rolled scrap of paper was found sewn into a hidden pocket in the man's trousers, a pocket investigators hadn't initially noticed. On it were two words printed in an unusual, elegant script: Tamam Shud, a Persian phrase meaning finished or ended, which investigators traced to the final page of a rare edition of a book of poetry called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of verses centered heavily on themes of mortality, fate, and death. Remarkably, police were later able to locate a copy of that exact rare edition, tossed into the back seat of an unlocked car parked near the beach around the time of the man's death, with the final page containing those same words, torn out to match the scrap found on his body. Inside that same book, faintly penciled, was something even stranger. A set of 5 lines of capital letters, arranged like a code, along with a phone number. That phone number led investigators to a woman living nearby, a nurse, who would become one of the case's most enduring points of speculation. She denied knowing the man when questioned, yet according to several investigators involved in the case, her reaction upon being shown a plaster cast of his face suggested she recognized him, though she never confirmed this outright, and she maintained her denial for the rest of her life. She has since died, and to this day, whatever she may have known about the identity of the Somerton Man went with her. The penciled code itself has never been definitively solved. Cryptographers, code breakers, amateur enthusiasts, and even military intelligence experts have proposed dozens of interpretations over the decades, ranging from a simple mnemonic device, perhaps initials of phrases the man was trying to remember, to a genuine cipher connected to Cold War-era espionage, a theory that gained traction given the timing, just 3 years after the end of World War II, and at the very start of rising Cold War tensions, when Australia's proximity to sensitive weapons testing sites made international spy activity a very real, well-documented concern. No version of the code has ever been proven correct by mainstream cryptographic analysis. For decades, the case sat frozen, an unidentified body buried in an Adelaide cemetery under a headstone that simply reads, "The Unknown Man," visited periodically by amateur investigators and true crime enthusiasts, hoping some new detail might finally break the case open. Then, in the 2010s and 2020s, advances in forensic genealogy, the same DNA matching technology used to crack several long-cold serial killer cases in the United States, were applied to hair samples taken from a plaster cast made of the man's head shortly after his death. In July of 2022, a researcher announced what he believed was a match, identifying the man as Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. This identification has been treated by some as the likely, most probable solution to who the man was, though as of now it has not been universally formally confirmed as conclusive by all relevant Australian authorities. And even if his identity is settled, it does not answer the central question that made this case famous in the first place: how he died, why every identifying tag was removed from his clothing, what the code in the book actually means, and why, if he really was Carl Webb, no one in his life ever seems to have reported him missing or come forward to claim him. More than 75 years after a well-dressed stranger was found propped against a seawall on an Australian beach, pieces of his story continue to be uncovered. But the core of the mystery, what actually happened to him in his final hours, and why, remains, even now, only partially answered. If mysteries like this, cases where science keeps chipping away at the unknown, but never quite finishes the job, are exactly what draws you in, subscribe to The Grave Details, because history is full of stories just like this one, still waiting to be told.